Getting you up to date now on News 10's top stories of the day. A member of the state parole board and former state assemblyman is facing a child sex charge tonight. Chris Ortloff of Plattsburgh is accused of allegedly trying to meet two young girls online for sex. The 61-year-old spent 20 years in the state legislature. A husband and wife are recovering after their house exploded in Johnstown. Fire officials say a propane gas leak ignited, causing the blast last night. Neighbors were at the scene today trying to salvage anything left inside for the McGrail family. An overnight fire in Malta gutted an elderly couple's home. However, the husband and wife inside made it out after hearing their dogs barking. The dog reportedly died in that fire. It is still unclear what sparked it. Two suspects are under arrest tonight following a robbery at the M&T Bank in Schaghticoke. The men had no weapons but got away with the cash. They were caught, though, in Clifton Park after causing a string of crashes at an intersection. President Bush unveiled a plan today in which $250 billion will be invested in American banks. As a result, stocks were up nearly 400 points at the opening bell, but ended down 76 points. The federal budget deficit is now at an all-time high of $454 billion. No deficit, though, in terms of our weather lately. It's been gorgeous. Yeah, tomorrow, upper 60s, partly sunny, a cool down with the wet weather Thursday, but drying out just in time for the weekend in the 50s. Great timing again. Thanks, Steve. Thanks so much for watching. World News with Charles Gibson is up next. Join us tonight at 11.
Welcome to World News. Tonight, price break. Gasoline drops 33 cents a gallon in a week. The largest price drop on record, which means other things cost a lot less as well. Saving banks. The government will invest $250 billion in the nation's largest banks, action not seen since the Great Depression. Hidden bias. Do voters tell pollsters the truth about their willingness to vote for a black candidate? That's our closer look. And the Queen. Her classmates made her homecoming queen, and no one could appreciate the honor more.
From ABC News headquarters, this is World News with Charles Gibson.
Good evening. There is good economic news to report tonight that affects almost every American. It is the price of gas, which fell dramatically, down 33 cents a gallon in just the past week, to a nationwide average of $3.15 a gallon. That's almost $1 lower than the high of $4.11 a gallon in July. The 33-cent price drop represents a savings to American drivers of about $125 million every day. The reason for all this, Americans are driving less. So Sharon Alfonsi joins us tonight. Sharon?
Well, this is all about demand here in the U.S. and around the world. Demand for oil has been falling sharply month after month. Just this summer, there was talk of $5 a gallon. Not anymore.
Across the country, the headline is clear. Gas prices are plummeting. Watch what's happened in just 3 months, from the West Coast to New England to the Midwest.
Very glad to see them under $3. I didn't think I'd see it again.
Neither did most experts. As oil prices skyrocketed this summer, analyst after analyst predicted the worst.
Gas prices are going to head straight up.
I think this is only the beginning. We could easily see $4.50 a gallon gasoline with these same oil prices.
It is a new economic world. The high oil prices are here to stay.
But consumers put the brakes on their driving. World economy stumbled, demand fell, and prices followed. Today, many analysts see the barrel as half full.
I expect gasoline prices to fall to $3 a gallon by Thanksgiving, and they could fall even further by the end of the year. So the consumer is in for lower gas prices for at least the next 6 to 9 months.
Soaring airline ticket prices are coming down too. This week, many carriers slashed fuel surcharges. A month ago, a round-trip ticket from San Francisco to London was $409. Tack on a fuel surcharge, and the price peaked over $1,000. Today, the fare is less, and the fuel surcharge has been cut by more than $60.
With the fuel costs coming down, the airlines have more wiggle room to tempt us and lure us to get on airplanes. And you'll find a great deal for the holiday season.
Carnival Cruise Lines plans to remove their fuel surcharge too. But many other industries aren't budging. From pizza delivery to trash pickup, many businesses plan to keep the fuel surcharge on the bill, too unsure what prices might look like down the road.
Many of the business owners that we spoke to today say the economy is just too volatile, and they're not sure these lower gas prices are here to stay. After all, next month, OPEC ministers will meet. They could decide to cut production, and that would send prices back up. Charlie.
All right, Sharon Alfonsi reporting tonight. Thanks to you. Next, we're going to turn to the efforts to revive the economy. President Bush announced today that the government will spend up to $250 billion to buy shares in the nation's largest banks. 9 of the country's largest will participate. The move represents a partial nationalization of those banks, an extraordinary move in extraordinary economic times. So here's Betsy Stark.
The ayes and nays are requested.
Just 10 days after Congress approved a $700 billion plan,
the motion is adopted
to rescue American banks by buying up the bad assets on their balance sheets.
Oh my God, it was ripped, and I'll call you back.
And with memories of the worst week in stock market history still fresh, the nation's top officials appeared before the public today, conceding more needs to be done.
Today's actions are not what we ever wanted to do, but today's actions are what we must do to restore confidence in our financial system.
At the heart of the plan is a $250 billion injection of cash into American banks, including 9 of the largest. In exchange for that capital, taxpayers get an ownership stake in the banks and a guaranteed 5% return on their money.
It actually puts cash in bank hands to turn around and give to consumers.
But that's not all. For a limited time, the government will guarantee bank deposits for some business accounts, and it will guarantee many of the loans banks make to businesses and to each other, ensuring that these loans are repaid even if the borrower defaults. Finally, beginning in 2 weeks, small and medium-sized businesses will essentially be able to borrow money from the Federal Reserve, giving them the financing they need to make payroll and stock shelves.
We will not stand down until we have achieved our goals of repairing and reforming our financial system and thereby restoring prosperity to our economy.
Buy 2 million, paired 500.
On Wall Street, investors initially greeted the plan with a 400-point rally.
Hopefully Mr. Paulson got it right this time around.
But by day's end, it had fizzled as investors focused on the damage to the economy.
There'll be ups and downs in the markets day to day, but I think we're now headed in the right direction.
Even if the tide is turning on the financial crisis, and many think it is, the economy has taken a pounding and a recession is in the cards, which is why, despite this historic announcement today, investors are still jittery. Charlie.
All right, Betsy Stark reporting with tonight's installment of the efforts to revive the economy. And the economy was at the forefront of the campaign for president again today. What Barack Obama did yesterday, John McCain did today, putting forth a proposal to revive the economy. The McCain plan would cost $52.5 billion to eliminate taxes on unemployment benefits, cut the capital gains tax in half for 2 years, and lower the tax on the first $50,000 withdrawn from an IRA account.
If I'm elected president, I will help to create jobs for Americans in the most effective way a president can do this, with tax cuts to create jobs and to protect your life savings.
So with both candidates now having announced their plans for the economy, we asked Bianca Goladriga to compare the two proposals.
As part of their new economic rescue plans, both candidates are focusing on the biggest victims of this crisis, those in or approaching retirement who have lost more than $2 trillion in the last 15 months. Under McCain's pension and family security plan, those 59 years and older who withdraw from their IRAs or 401k retirement plans in the next 2 years will pay a 10% tax rate rather than their higher normal tax rates. Barack Obama would go a step further, announcing up to $10,000 in tax-free withdrawals from both accounts over the next 2 years. Both men introduced tax policies to recharge the economy. Senator McCain proposed cutting the long-term capital gains tax in half, from 15% to 7.5% in 2009 and 2010.
I like McCain's capital gains tax cut proposal because the capital gains tax, it's not a tax on the rich. It's a tax on corporations, and corporations are in turn held by people of all different income levels.
As for Senator Obama, he proposes a $3,000 tax credit to companies for each new job created in the next 2 years.
That's one of these
for me, one of these campaign rhetoric kind of ideas. You just don't really know if it's going to work. It costs more than $3,000 to hire somebody, but it does sound really good when you say it.
But the issue experts believe is most critical to fixing the economy is how to fix the housing market. Senator McCain proposed a $300 billion plan for the government to buy distressed mortgages from banks. Senator Obama called for a 90-day moratorium on foreclosures for homeowners who are living in their homes and making good faith efforts on their payment. Economists agree on this much. Whoever wins this election will have an awfully tough time turning the economy around. Bianca Goladriga, ABC News, New York.
Election day is 3 weeks from today, but there are already accusations of voter fraud. The charges made by the McCain campaign are directed at a group called ACORN. That's an association of community organizations which has been filing registrations for new voters who may not be legitimate voters at all. So here's our senior political correspondent, Jake Tapper.
In Nevada, election officials raided an ACORN office after finding fraudulent voter registration forms for members of the Dallas Cowboys starting offense.
What we can say with confidence is that Tony Romo is nowhere on our voter registration rolls.
There have been issues all over the country. An Ohio voter this week said he'd filled out 73 ACORN voter registrations in exchange for cigarettes and cash. Florida election officials rejected an ACORN application for Mickey Mouse. Today, John McCain attacked ACORN and tried to tie it to Barack Obama.
ACORN is tampering with America's most precious right. There has to be a full and complete investigation, but it has to be immediate. Senator Obama has had relations with ACORN in the past.
Obama acknowledged a relationship with ACORN, which advocates for low-income communities, but said it is not advising his campaign.
And we've got the best voter registration and turnout and volunteer operation in politics right now, and we don't need ACORN's help.
Obama called McCain's attack a distraction from real issues.
This isn't a situation where there is actually people who are going to try to vote because these are phony names.
ACORN officials today said they fired overzealous employees and worked with authorities to pinpoint the bad registrations, which they say are a small percentage of the 1.3 million new voters they've signed up.
Elections officials need to verify each application. So if we think or suspect it's bad, we say that in the cover sheet we turn in.
What makes America special is what's in this room tonight.
ACORN officials pointed out that in 2006, McCain was keynote speaker at a Miami rally they co-sponsored for immigration reform. ACORN officials said the primary problem isn't a few phony names on voter registrations, but real voters being prevented from casting their ballots. Jake Tapper, ABC News, Oregon, Ohio.
And still ahead on World News, the wildfires ravaging parts of the San Fernando Valley. The wind makes fighting them so hard. Do voters hide their real leanings when pollsters ask if they'd vote for an African-American candidate? That'll be our closer look. And the homecoming queen of Aledo, Texas. She was the only one surprised when she won.
This is World News with Charles Gibson. Brought to you by Centrum Cardio.
Worried about cholesterol? Well, now you can lower it. This is a Centrum multivitamin, complete from A to zinc. And this is CoroWise, a natural ingredient that can lower cholesterol. Put them together and you get Centrum Cardio, the first and only complete multivitamin that can lower cholesterol. With CoroWise, you may see results in as little as 4 weeks. The lower cholesterol you want from the name you trust. Centrum Cardio. Good for your cholesterol, good for the rest of you.
Thanks, Glade. Yoga time! Right here. It smells so fresh in here. Oh, yeah? You like it? It's just some boutique-y fragrance I discovered that helps me plug into my karma.
Plug into your karma? More like Glade plugins.
Now experience the freshest Glade fragrances ever, infused with essential oils like boutique fragrances.
And yes, it's Glade.
For smaller spaces, get Glade Plugins Gel. SC Johnson, a family company.
Mucinex DM breaks up mucus and quiets coughing. Mucinex DM, you've ruined my beauty sleep. And it lasts for 12 hours. Mucinex in, mucus out.
Here's Erica. She has a lot on her plate.
Easy. But her life just got easier thanks to new Glad bags. They're designed to grip with taller tabs and more ridges.
Easy.
Go easy. Get Glad.
Hi.
You got everything I need, right? Chicken breasts?
Yes.
Carrots?
Yes.
Celery, parsley, onions and garlic?
Garlic and onions, yeah.
The ingredients make all the difference. Progresso just tastes better than condensed. Progresso, what a soup should be.
Who would you give a leave to?
My sister for her arthritis pain.
Definitely my mom for her back pain.
I'd give it to my uncle for his knee pain.
This October, help someone move pain-free with a free box of Aleve during the Aleve Buy One, Give One giveaway.
Fair, straightforward pricing. That's what TD Ameritrade stands for. Think about it. Why pay investing fees you shouldn't have to, or account fees that aren't clear, like inactivity fees or maintenance fees? It's not right, and you know it. And the thing is, the other investment firms know it, but they do it anyway, and that's just not fair or straightforward. TD Ameritrade. Independence is the spirit that drives America's most successful investors.
A state of emergency is in effect in 2 Southern California counties tonight as firefighters try to get the upper hand on wildfires that have scorched thousands of acres in the San Fernando Valley. Once again today, the firefighters' enemy is as much wind as it is flames. And Lisa Fletcher is again in the fire zone.
Tonight, the battle is raging. Firefighters lining up in backyards, choppers making their drops.
Fire started from flying embers from another part of the fire, and these homes became threatened.
Crews are using every tool they have in the face of an overpowering opponent.
You don't fight the wind. What you do is protect the structures. So you can't put the fire out until the wind stops.
California is facing a triple threat: dry brush, steep terrain, and winds that'll knock you over.
The winds are king when it comes to wildfires in Southern California this time of year. It is 80-mile-an-hour power pushing these flames through the San Fernando Valley.
The powerful Santa Ana's doubled the size of this fire overnight, driving thousands more from their homes.
It's a little bit hard at this moment to see, the uncertainty of where is the fire.
This was all we had left in the whole world. We're both disabled on SSI, and I guess California or God doesn't love us anymore.
You take this.
Craig and Christine Galante's 11-year-old son is a cancer survivor. They were forced from their home.
First thing he asked for is his guardian angel. This has protected him. He was very ill as a child. He had cancer, and he was given this by his grandmother. And he figured this would get him through it, and it did.
Firefighters hope that a shift in the winds later in the week will bring relief.
This would be a hell of a fire, even if it wasn't windy and it was just terrain driven. With this wind and with these houses right up against these slopes, it really makes it hard for the firefighters to protect these houses.
Relief that may come too late for these communities trying to hang on. Lisa Fletcher, ABC News, the San Fernando Valley.
The Supreme Court cleared the way today for the state of Georgia to execute a man the court had spared just a few weeks ago. Troy Davis was less than 2 hours from execution for a 1989 murder when the court intervened because most of the witnesses against him have recanted. But today the court refused to grant him a full hearing. Coming up next, do voters hiding racial bias throw off political polls? It's our closer look.
Flu season is coming. At CVS Pharmacy and Minute Clinic, we want to help you stay healthy.
So we're making it simple to get a flu shot. It's quick and easy. You can get a flu shot in one of our pharmacies or Minute Clinic locations.
To find the most convenient location, call 1-888-FLU-SHOT or go to cvs.com.
If you have any questions about flu prevention or treatment, speak to me
or your local CVS pharmacist. CVS Pharmacy.
For all the ways you care.
I always thought calcium and vitamin D and exercise would keep my bones healthy. But I got osteoporosis anyway, so my doctor started me on once monthly Boniva. And he told me something important. Boniva works with your body to help stop and reverse bone loss. My test results proved I was able to stop and reverse my bone loss with Boniva. And studies show after 1 year on Boniva, 9 out of 10 women did too.
Don't take Boniva if you have low blood calcium, severe kidney disease, or can't sit or stand for at least 1 hour. Follow dosing instructions carefully. Stop taking Boniva and tell your doctor if you have difficult or painful swallowing, chest pain, or severe or continuing heartburn, as these may be signs of serious upper digestive problems. If severe bone, joint, and or muscle pain develops, tell your doctor.
I've got this one body and this one life, so I wanted to stop my bone loss. But I did more than that. I reversed it with Boniva. Ask your doctor if Boniva is right for you.
Boniva helps stop and reverse bone loss.
In order for things to work, it doesn't mean it has to have an uncomfortable feeling.
Crest Pro Health kills 99% of germs that can cause gingivitis, plaque, and bad breath without the burn of alcohol.
It really feels like it's working without the burning.
Crest Pro Health Rinse.
Everything that goes into Mrs. Dash, all those natural herbs and spices, is just as important as what doesn't. No salt, no MSG. Mrs. Dash. Salt-free, flavorful.
The generation that swore it would never get old didn't. Welcome to the summer of life. New Touch of Gray from Just for Men. Lets you keep a little gray. Works gradually. Easy.
Never trust anybody over 90.
New Touch of Gray.
Why let heartburn stop you when you can stop heartburn? Just one Zantac with a cool mint sensation can knock it out all day or all night for strong, lasting relief. Heartburn, attack it. Zantac.
We're taking a closer look tonight at a factor in the presidential campaign that the governor of Ohio has called the elephant in the room. The factor is race. It's not talked about much, and the question is whether that means it won't matter or whether there may be many voters who are simply unwilling to admit they would not vote for a black candidate. John Berman has been looking at what history says about the issue.
Barack Obama has a 10-point lead over John McCain in the latest ABC News poll.
I'm superstitious, so...
The question is that enough? Enough for a black candidate?
We've seen these type of leads disappear at election time.
I've seen the figures.
It's called the Bradley effect, after former Los Angeles Mayor Tom Bradley. When he ran for governor in 1982, some pre-election polls showed him with a lead of 9 points or higher. He lost by more than a point. There are other examples. In the 1989 Virginia governor's race, one poll showed Douglas Wilder with an 11-point lead. He ended up winning, but by less than a point. And in the 1989 race for New York City mayor, one poll showed David Dinkins with a 14-point lead. He won by just 2. Some analysts suggest that voters will tell pollsters one thing because they don't want to seem prejudiced and vote differently.
When you're at the voting booth, nobody's there. You can express what you really believe.
As we've traveled the country this election season, we have found plenty of people who expect Obama's race will be a factor. From Ohio...
I think it's still out there. It's kind of sad, but it is.
...to South Carolina.
My father is kind of a racist guy.
But saying race matters is different than saying people are misleading pollsters.
It would be much simpler for them simply to decline to participate in the poll in the first place.
Hey, guys.
And modern history seems to disprove the Bradley effect as well. 2 years ago, there were 5 statewide races with black candidates. The polls got it right every time. And in the primaries this year, while some reliable pre-election polls underestimated support for Hillary Clinton, particularly New Hampshire, support for Obama was underestimated just as often.
When a pre-election poll goes bad, usually the reason is that it made a bad estimate of who's going to show up to vote, not that its respondents lied.
It's an old adage in polling. The only one that counts is on Election Day. John Berman, ABC News, New York.
Our closer look for tonight, and you can weigh in on this issue on our blog, The World Newser. You can find it at our website, abcnews.com. There was an international incident